And there are, I'm pretty sure, no late night snack options unless you want to pay for it. And there's no pizza. Huh? It is Sunday, February 20th, 2022, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofatime, we're talking about who I think should not cruise with Costa Cruises. Welcome back, everybody. If you're new here, I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there. And I also wrote a book called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship, True Stories, available on Amazon now. Costa Cruise Lines is the Italian brand of Carnival. And I know that most of you out there who come here to the very unofficial travel guides are in North America or someplace in England. And I think probably more of the people who live over here on the European side are familiar with Costa, and many Americans have only heard of the Costa Concordia disaster. There was just a small incident a couple years ago. Costa has 12 ships in their fleet at the moment, and they mostly cater to the Italian, French, German, and Spanish market. And then I think everybody else is just a very small amount of their market, although all of the staff on board spoke English. Most of the announcements on board were done in Italian first and then in English, and some were done in French and German and things like that as well. I have now cruised with Royal Caribbean, with NCL, with Disney, with Carnival, with AIDA, MeinSchiff, with MSC, and now with Costa. But just for full disclosure, I've only done one cruise on Costa, so the facts in this video, I'm basing on that. I have only cruised with the Costa Luminosa. However, the Costa Pacifica, Deliciosa, Favolosa, and Fascinosa are all very similar ships, so I think some of this information is relevant beyond just my single experience. And so I'm gonna go through the pool areas, the activities on board, the shows, the ship design, and the food, and just sort of let you know what my experience was like and who I think would not enjoy one of these cruises. Before we get into this, people, I just want to make sure that you understand that this is kind of a humorous list of things that you won't find on Costa, but there are a lot of reasons to cruise with Costa, including really great prices and the fact that they cruise in the Mediterranean all year long. So just wanted to make sure that you understand that before we get into it. All right, starting with the pool area. Who I think would not enjoy a Costa cruise is, according to my experience on this ship, anybody who's a fan of big, long swimming pools and water slides. This class of ship on Costa has two small pools, and the indoor pool is like only 2.5 feet deep. It's like one step above a wading pool for kids. If anybody tries to do like a cannonball into that pool because they think it's a real pool,
they're gonna break their tailbone.
The outdoor pool is a little bit deeper, but it is not big. So if you enjoy spending a lot of time in the pool and actually swimming, you know, there are cruise ships with pools that you can swim laps in. The Celebrity Apex that we were on last summer is a perfect example. You will not like a Costa cruise, at least not on one of these ships. I have my list over here, so if I look distracted, I'm just checking my list. So basically, if you are a fan of water activities at all, you're probably not gonna enjoy a cruise on one of these Costa ships. Also, if you enjoy long walks around the pool deck, then these ships are definitely also not for you, because they made a really, what I think, odd design choice. Most ships, I think just about every ship I've been on except for the AIDA ships, when you go to the top deck, the Lido deck, then in the middle is where the pool and all the action happens. However, it's not like that on these ships. In that place on the top deck where the pool would be is the indoor buffet. And on one side of the indoor buffet is the indoor pool. And before I forget, this has a retractable roof, so technically it could be the outdoor pool, and it's really great that it has a retractable roof because at this time of the year, cruising in the Mediterranean, it's sunny, but it's not warm. So I really enjoyed having this sort of indoor-outdoor space. But if you want to go from that pool to the other pool, you have to walk through the buffet, which means waiting in the line, scanning your card, washing your hands, and then walking past all the food and all the people getting food and eating, which is just seem really strange to me. There is a way to get from the indoor pool to the aft pool, the outdoor pool, without going through the buffet, but you have to go up to the second level of the indoor pool, walk all the way back to the side, go through this literally unmarked door that you would never know where it goes to, walk along the walkway over past the golfing area, and then down the stairs, and then you're at the other pool without going through the buffet. And this isn't, necessarily a big deal, but I just realized on this cruise how much I enjoy as the last thing of the night, even if I have a balcony cabin, the last thing of the night, always just going back up to the pool deck and making like one lap around the pool, the outdoor area. And it's possible on these ships, but it's not the same. Also, really important thing here, if you're a fan of just relaxing by the pool and reading a book or maybe listening to a podcast or something like that,
you are not gonna want to cruise with Costa.
I don't know what it is about these Italian ships, but I've experienced it on MSC and also now at Costa. When there is an activity happening at the pool or there's music playing, it is so loud. The activities and experience crew who do the activities that happen then at the indoor pool, which is I guess like the main pool, they turn up the microphone and the music so loud that it's painful. And, a microphone is used so that you can speak in your normal voice and it amplifies your voice so that a large group of people can still hear what you're saying, right? Well, on Costa and on MSC, the activity people, they take this microphone, they turn it all the way up, and then they scream into it. That's not what a microphone is for. That's not how you're supposed to use it. And I found myself again just being so annoyed by the amount of loudness. The level of audio was just much too high. So like I said, if you're a fan of chilling out by the pool and relaxing with a book and some kind of quiet atmosphere, you're not gonna enjoy a Costa cruise. There are times where it's a little bit less loud, but when the activities are happening, it is so loud. And speaking of activities, that's what we're gonna move on to next.
Losing all my focus, I can't even control it.
If you are a fan of water slides, flow riders, go-karts, simulators, observation platforms, all those crazy fun things, you are not going to enjoy a Costa cruise ship because they don't have those things. Yes, some of their ships do, but most of them don't. The Luminosa that I was on, and like I said, there's several ships that are basically twins of this ship, had the indoor pool, the outdoor pool, hot tubs, and then like I said, no other water features, no other special fun activity that really stood out. Another activity thing that I know so many of you enjoy on cruises is quiz or name that tune or who wants to be a millionaire. And you like to go there because you really enjoy winning these keychains and the bottle openers. These little prizes are kind of a cool little collector thing, and it's fun to compete against the other people or maybe other people you know. Well, I don't think you're gonna enjoy a Costa cruise because at least on this cruise that I was on, first of all, there were no prizes, and second of all, the way they had it set up, you only compete against yourself. So for instance, if it was quiz and they said, what singer sang the song Thriller? Easy question, I know. I'm just using it as an example. Then the way quiz would work is basically people would just yell out the answer and then the person doing the quiz would say the correct answer and then you'd move on. So like I said, it wasn't like, that fun kind of competition against the other people in the bar or wherever it takes place that I enjoy was non-existent. It was just basically somebody asks a question out loud, you come up with the answer in your head, and then they tell you the right answer. So if you enjoy I would say the traditional kind of quiz where you write down your answers and then get them corrected, and then they go through them and you see, how many people got this many points, how many people got this many points, and then somebody wins a keychain, you're not gonna enjoy a Costa cruise. Altogether, if you need a ton of planned activities, according to my experience, Costa is not for you. Now, this may be different during normal times and when there are more people on the cruise, but there were few activities planned. Many of them were the same thing over and over, and several of them were canceled just because they said not enough people showed up. That will definitely change when we get into the high season and when restrictions are lowered. Okay, we're gonna move on to something very important to me, the shows, right after this commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below. The shows have become a huge part of the cruising experience, and if you love Broadway style shows, you are not gonna enjoy a Costa cruise. If you like shows with a story that makes sense, Costa Cruises is not for you. The performers of the shows that I saw were very talented, but the material that they were given, and especially the costumes, oh my gosh, the costumes, were just not at the level that I have seen on almost every other cruise ship, and they are far, far away from Royal, NCL, and especially Disney. The shows that were offered on board my cruise were a mix of guest entertainers, so jugglers, circus artists, things like that. You usually get those on just about every cruise. But the big musical shows were mostly review style shows with just this really strange mix of genres and eras and music and styles all thrown together, and very, very colorful costumes. Oh, also, it's always so late. If you're a fan of going to bed early, you're not gonna enjoy a Costa cruise unless you wanna miss a lot of things. On my cruise, the show time was 10:30 in the evening, and the dance club opened at midnight. So if you're somebody who goes to bed early, you're gonna miss all that. If you're an early sleeper and an early waker-upper, choose a different cruise line. Okay, now I wanna talk about the ship design. I've already uploaded the first vlog from the ship where I board the ship and find my cabin and get my first impressions, and I've said it in that, and I will say it in many other videos. This ship was
Flashy and sassy.
I don't know how they can put so many colors and different patterns and surfaces into one area. At any place on the ship, if you go like this and then look through that box, you'll see probably 12 different patterns. When they were doing the interior design, somebody came back from the fabric store and they said, all right, I have this brown and yellow leopard print. I have these black and white stripes. I have these blue waves. I also have some pink and red polka dots. So which of these is going into which space? And then the designer was like, oh, no, they're all going into every space. So yeah, like I said, if you look through like just a tiny little spot of the ship, you'll see so many things happening all at the same time. It looked like a exaggerated version of Las Vegas in 1988. So if you're a fan of slick, elegant designs or something that's visually calming, and especially if you or somebody that you're traveling with has some sensory issues, you definitely are not gonna enjoy a Costa cruise. Moving on to the food, something really important. I mean, one of the highest of highlights for cruising. And this was something that surprised me because many of you had me believing that I was going to find the food boring, bland, and there wasn't going to be a lot of it to satisfy me. And I was very pleasantly surprised that that wasn't the case. And I've said this in the daily videos. I'm not calling anybody out. I totally believe that on your cruise, that was your experience, but on mine, it wasn't. That being said, if you are a fan of a huge selection in the buffet and a huge selection in the main dining room in the evening, you're not gonna be happy on Costa. What I can say is what was there was prepared very well with fresh ingredients, looked great, tasted great, but there were few options. Let's put it that way. So if you enjoy, like on NCL and Royal, where it just seems like the buffet never ends and around every corner there's something new, that's not what it was like on Costa for me. And this is something that I find so weird. Well, there's two things. One of them is there's no buffet for dinner. The buffet is only open for breakfast and lunch. And there are, I'm pretty sure, no late night snack options unless you want to pay for it. And there's no pizza. Huh? It seems so strange to me that in the buffet for lunch and in the main dining room for lunch and dinner, no pizza. You can get pizza on board, but only at dinner time and only in a specialty restaurant. And for a ship that one of its advertising points, if you go to the Costa website, they say, we make our own mozzarella. I think, yeah, great. I want to try that mozzarella on a pizza. And it seems weird that I have to pay for it. So if you're going on an Italian cruise ship because you think, I love pizza, I want to have pizza every day, you're probably not going to enjoy Costa unless you want to pay for it. There are probably a ton of other things that I could compare, but this was the little breakdown I wanted to give you today. If you have any other questions, make sure you write them in the comments below. And speaking of your comments, every week here on Sunday Sofa Time, I pick out some comments from the last Sunday Sofa Time to talk about them here live on air, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. Last week's Sunday Sofa Time was recorded on board the Costa Luminosa, where I talked about how I've developed a little bit of anxiety in the last couple of months. Started on the gondola ride in the mountains, has carried on to today. And the first comment I want to mention is from Karen Hill. Hey Karen. Karen says, as someone who lost her oldest brother to COVID, I'm so sorry, Karen, that sucks. I don't think my loss means everyone else's less than lethal struggles have no meaning. That's one of the points I was trying to make in the video from last week. I don't want to say too much about it, but just, if you want to clear up what I mean, go watch the video, please. These frustrations and anxieties are real, and I expect when I cruise in April where I have to fly to Florida, I'll run into more. I'm trying hard not to worry in advance. Yeah, these issues and these anxieties that, pop up, we can try not to worry, but sometimes what I'm learning now and what I'm dealing with is it's just unavoidable, and they appear and then you have to deal with it and process it and find a way to navigate through it. But one of the cool things about making this video and reading these comments is I just realized so many of us, we're not alone. There's other people going through the same things, and as Karen said, she had something really awful to deal with, and that doesn't mean that hers was in any way, like better or worse than somebody who has less to deal with. We're all dealing with something. That's the point. Next comment is from LAR, or LAR. They write, your stress and anxiety are justified, especially since traveling is basically your job, so you don't really have the option of just not going anywhere.
Ain't that the truth?
It must be so discouraging not seeing Emma in your hometown. Yes. Emma Cruises and the Cruise Boys were here in Hamburg a week ago, and I wasn't here because I booked this Costa cruise, so I missed them and I'm still really disappointed by it. But the Costa cruise looks so nice. I hope you are able to relax and enjoy it. Well, like I said, the first video is online and there are more coming, and thanks for commenting. Final comment is from Lisa Longecker. Lisa writes, thank you for talking about your anxiety and frustrations. The pandemic has made everything so much harder, and as you said, things change on a dime. It's good to know someone else feels it too. That and those kind of comments motivate me, and my goal is to help everybody learn about travel destinations, see what's out there and see what it's really like, and if I can entertain you at the same time, and also, like Lisa was saying, let you know that other people have the same kind of struggles and issues, be it, just finding a good hotel or worrying about if you have all 27 forms in order. Those are things that we all deal with, even me, who travels maybe a lot more than others. All right, everybody, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video here. Make sure you check back next week because there may be, well, hopefully by then, some plans that I'm working on. Oh, do you see this cat hair flying around there? I'm planning something a little bit different, a little bit crazy that I'm sure a lot of you will have opinions about. And hopefully by next week, it will be set in stone and that'll be what I'm talking about. And in the meantime, enjoy the Costa vlogs and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.